Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Let's introduce myself. My name is Kurnia Rahmah and I am from Group 1. Program Study Islamic Education, Tarbiyah Fakulti, Institut Agama Islam Darussalam Martapura. The first, I want to talking about preliminary. In Islamic law, hadith is the second source of law after the Al-Quran. The determination of the hadith as the second source is indicated by three things, namely the Al-Quran itself, the agreement or ijma of the scholars, and the logic of common sense or ma'qul. The validity of hadith as a source of law is reinforced by the fact that the Quran only provides general outlines and guidelines which require further explanation and detail to be implemented in human life. Therefore, the validity of the hadith as a second source is logically acceptable. Imam Ahmad emphasized that one cannot possibly understand Al-Quran as a whole without going through Al-Hadith. Imam Al-Shatibi also argues that we will not be able to draw conclusions from the law of the Al-Quran without going through Al-Hadith. Thus, it is clear the function of Al-Hadith in the Al-Quran is quite important, namely as a bayan or explanation. The second, I want to talking about my materials about function of hadith in Al-Quran. The most important function of the hadith for the Al-Quran is a bayan. In this context, the author will provide example and description of how Al-Hadith explain the contents of the Al-Quran. Firstly, Al-Quran has legalized good food, QIs 5:1, and forbidden dirty things, QI 156. But between the two, between the good and the dirty, there are some things that are not clear or shubhat, which are page not real good and not real bad. The size of good and bad according to human perspective will be different. Therefore, Rasulullah SAW determines what is good and what is bad with the terms halal and haram. He forbids all wild animals which have fangs and birds that have clawing and grabbing hooves. Likewise, he forbids tame donkey, not forest donkey, because all of these include the filthy and vile animals. Secondly, Al-Quran has legalized all non-intoxicating drinks and prohibit all intoxicating drinks. Among those that are not intoxicating and those that are intoxicating, there are several kinds of drinks which are actually not intoxicating, but there is a concern that they are intoxicating too, such as palm wheat from sweet potatoes, soybean wine, pumpkin tuak, or tuak that are put in a vessel paints with tar from it, al-muzaffat, which is also put in a hollow log, al-nakir, and which is similar to an intoxicating drink and brings destruction. Then Rasulullah SAW returned to justify everything that was not intoxicating. And then the final, Al-Quran prohibits people who are in ihram from hunting prey with mutlaq, meaning they do not ask condition. If the prohibition is ignored, then it is obligatory. Then is it obligatory jaza or retribution for those who violate it, kill them. But the prohibition on hunting is exempted for people who are lawful, meaning for those who do not do ihram. The expansion is mutlaq too. Then the question arises, how is the flow for a person who is in ihram to hunt accidentally, and Rasulullah SAW explained that hunting for people who are in ihram is the same. The law is between intentional and unintentional in the obligation to pay a fine or dam. The second is Bayan Takhsis, a hadith which contains limiting common verses. For example, the Al-Quran prohibits curses, while the hadith limit that a curse is forbidden expect in the sea. And next, Bayan Ta'yin or Ta'kid, a hadith that corroborates two or more cases referred to by the verses of the Quran, as the Quran experience about inherent stains. The hadith emphasizes that a person who kills has no right to receive an inherent taints. Al-Quran says about the law of cutting off hands for typhus, while the hadith strengthens the limit of stolen property, namely 1/4 dinar. And then Bayan Tashri, a hadith which stipulates a law on cases that are ignored by the Quran. For example, forbidding marriage with owls. And then by Nasakh, the hadith which specific cursing verses has been removed by another verse which seems contradictory. The group that allow the function of nasakh in the hadith are the Mu'tazilah, Hanafiyah, and Ibn Hazm ad-Dari schools. In this group, it is argued that the occurrence of this nasakh is due to the arguments of Shara, which come and change a law of the previous provisions, because the latter was seen as broader and more suitable with its knowledge. In this case, of course, the invalidity of a law must meet the specific condition, especially the terms of the Nasakhi and Manus provisions. Meanwhile, those who reject this type of Nasakh were Imam Shafi'i and most of his followers, even though the Nasakh were with mutwaris. Another group that refused were most of the followers of the Zahiriyah school of Turk and the Khawarij group. The argument of Ash-Shatibi as quoted by Rosihon Anwar regarding the portion of hadith which are below the level of Al-Quran include: the first, Al-Quran is expect qat'i, while the hadith are accept as dhanni, expect the hadith mutwarid. Our belief in the hadith is only globally, not in detail, while the Quran, both globally and in detail, is expect and conclusively. The second, the hadith sometimes explain something global in the Quran. Sometimes they comment on the Quran, sometimes talk about something that has not been discussed or comment on the Quran. Then, of course, their status is not the same as the degree to which the subject is given an explanation or comment. The subject Al-Quran is definitely more important than the one who gives the commentary or hadith. And then the final, in the hadith there are instructions regarding this, namely the hadith in the second position after Al-Quran. There are three functions of hadith for the Al-Quran in the view of Muhammad Ajaj Al-Khatib as quoted by Shahrin Hararab, including: first, hadith serves to strengthen with what the Al-Quran brought. Second, hadith serves to clarify or detail what has been outlined in the Al-Quran. And final, hadith function to determine laws that have not been regulated in the Al-Quran.